In ancient times, people used metal coins for money instead of paper, and coins made sense because a coin contained precious metal that people found valuable, like gold or silver. Think of it as $1's worth of gold being melted into $1 coin.
Yeah, sounds good to me. What's the problem?
The problem is that the Roman government decided to make more coins without actually finding more gold. They were turning the same amount of gold into even more coins.
How do you make money out of money?
Exactly the right question. He knows it's not chocolate, right?
All right, coin shavers, break's over. We need more coins than we have gold for. Shave off pieces of these coins and melt them down with other metals.
But if there's less gold in the coins, won't that make them worth less?
We don't pay you to ask questions.
We get paid?
Oh, would you look at the time?
This seems like cheating.
That's 'cause it is, and governments do it all the time.
I understand now. When you cheat to create new money, it makes everyone else's money worth less. Look how much lighter it is.
Exactly. When the money becomes worth less, you need to use more money to buy the same things. That's called inflation. Goggles up? You see, inflation is a monster that starts here in the government mint. It spreads as the devalued money makes its way through households, cities, and entire countries. It's like the monster is stealing from people because the money saved up is now worth less.
This is terrible!
Inflation hurts a nation.
So wait, does our government cheat to create money?
We didn't used to. Shall we, Gabby?
That was my favorite.
So wait, does our government cheat to create money?
We didn't used to. Shall we, Gabby?
That was my favorite.
This is the Federal Reserve, and instead of making gold coins, it creates paper money and controls how much is printed each year in the United States.
Oh, so that's why our money says Federal Reserve on it.
More like Federal Rejects. They really set themselves up for that one.
Not your best work, Gabby. The Federal Reserve has printed so much money since it was started in 1913, the dollar is now worth only 5% of what it was back then. Pardon moi. That means that if $1 could buy you 10 beautiful lollipops in 1913, that same dollar could only buy half of one lollipop in your time.
Inflation is so cruel.
That's how the inflation monster works. And it grows and grows every day. Goggles up.
This is horrifying. Why doesn't anyone do something about it?
Well, people can't see the inflation monster as clearly as you can right now, because prices creep up slowly over time.
So how bad can it get if we don't stop the inflation monster?
And is it available for non-union acting gigs?
Let's head to Zimbabwe in 2008. Let's head to Zimbabwe in 2008.
Gabby!
Tatenda, my friend, these are my grandkids.
One of them looks like an old bald guy.
That's Milton.
Nice to meet you, Tatenda. Are you going shopping?
I hope so, but I don't know if I'll be able to afford what I need. Here in Zimbabwe, the prices of food go up every day.
Every single day? I get upset when our movie ticket prices go up once a year. Is this happening because of inflation?
It is. That's a big word for a kid your age.
He learned that from me.
Okay.
We have a strong community, but people here are struggling.
Excusey, is there a discount for Nobel Prize winners?
In the early 2000s, the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe increased the money supply, causing hyperinflation.
Hyperinflation? My mom uses the word hyper for me when I eat cake for breakfast. My dad just calls me crazy. Is that what it means?
Crazy is a good word for it. Right now, one United States dollar is worth about 1 trillion Zimbabwe dollars.
Whoa, that's awesome. I have 10 US dollars I earned selling corn dogs. Here, take it. Then you'll have $10 trillion and you'll be rich.
Did you teach him that too?
Would you look at the time?
That's nice of you, but that 10 trillion won't get me very far when a loaf of bread now costs 5 trillion.
$5 trillion for a loaf of bread? It'd better taste amazing.
I understand that it sounds like a lot of money, and the government knows it sounds like a lot. That's why they keep printing it, as a quick fix. But it only makes things worse in the long run.
Inflation hurts a nation.
Yes, thank you, Milton. Inflation makes the poor people poorer. By the time the new printed money gets to the poor population, the prices are already so high, the money can hardly pay for anything.
Would you take 3 trillion American dollars? It's the only cash I have.
I'm so sorry. How can we help?
That's sweet, but we have to solve this ourselves.
We have to get back to the carnival and stop Corinne from printing tickets before it ruins everything like it has here. No offense.
None taken. I love my country. Just not always our politicians.
Adios, Tatenna.
So, what can we do about this?
Milton's jeans? Just look away.
No, about inflation.
You can stop this Corinne girl. She sounds like a real Nelson Aldrich, am I right?
Right, but aside from the carnival, what can we do to stop the inflation monster in our country?
That's a harder answer. But when you're old enough, you can vote for politicians who are against government spending. A hard thing for me to find in my time. Things are pretty crazy in the 70s.
I have no memory of that decade.
But I have hope for your time, where politicians band together in perfect unity and oppose inflation and reckless money printing.
Let's take a detour. Please keep your arms and legs inside the wheelchair while we go over this graph of all the money printed in the US over the last 10 years.
Holy inflation. One thing you can do right now at your age is make sure that the money you save is in a safer place than just a savings account, which won't grow your money faster than the inflation monster will shrink it.
So where should we put our money?
Ask your parents about that. They'll have investment advice that, well, I can't legally share here. Personally, I've started investing in the tech industry. They say that one day the personal computer will be smaller than a house.
Investments, though potentially lucrative, are inherently risky. As with any investments, only invest with what you are willing to lose.
The Dutch people are protesting against digital euro CBDC. The British people also protested against the digital ID and digital currency. The Dutch people call the CBDC as digital prison. They know where it comes from. It comes from the WEF and has already been deployed in China, where the phone is your payment device. Your ID, your bank accounts, and basically everything is in your phone. And if you don't behave the way the government requires, your phone screen will turn red and you cannot go anywhere. Same with CBDC, every transaction will be traceable, and governments can control everything. But now the WEF wants other countries to learn from China.
I respect China's achievements, which are tremendous over the last over 40 years. I think it's a role model for many countries.
Last week we have seen a huge protest in London against CBDC. Now the Dutch people are protesting in front of the second chamber building during the CBDC debate. They don't want CBDC and try their best to make their voice heard. It would not be surprising if we see digital currency being tied to your digital ID. And when you want to access your digital wallet, you would need to log in with your digital ID using facial recognition. And to reach that goal, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation had funded $200 million to expand digital public infrastructure, including payment system, digital ID, data sharing systems. Such the system has already been in use in China. There it called social credit system. China's social credit system expands that